What in the world happened here? Now make sure you guys smash the crap out of that I was the Magistus spell spirit so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So there's been a lot of interesting little developments happening in the world of the Magistus stuff. You know, Konami finally gave us, Spenta, which basically turned the entire package into something playable, which is what we had been waiting on. We wanted the chance to have this deck, be able to do some of the cool play lines that actually make the deck seem a little bit fun. And we finally have that. Now, IWAS is one of those tools that you can actually access and kind of do some interesting little play lines with. And over the last couple of days, a lot, and I mean a lot of copies of this have disappeared off of the market. And this is all just because, there's genuinely a decent amount of hype to be had around the Magistus stuff. Dracotel Magistus didn't really have the level of regional tops that I think people wanted to see week one of the regional grind so far. I mean, that could change going into the 300th, but for the Spentas and for the people that wanted to play Zorowa, just to get the quicker access into the synchro package stuff, this seems not like a terrible idea just to have. So, I don't know. The Magistus stuff, I want to see a little bit more success out of. Or, maybe if we had some other level 8 synchros to justify, wanting to play the Fallen of White and, being able to synchro with the Zorowa itself would possibly make, I think, a little bit more of a difference overall. And I mean, we just don't have the Sword Soul synchro or any of those other things to really make that decently playable. So, I mean, I guess who knows. Elfnote Lucina. So, the Elfnote stuff touched down in the TCG, and I am honestly very surprised by how the TCG is reacting to this. I figured there'd be a lot more people. Well, first of all, this deck was projected by a lot of people to be the next Synchro Turbo deck. You're going to be able to do so many cool things with this. Your deck will just be able to imagine the endless possibilities of a new synchro toolbox that you could actually work with. And oddly enough, as time has kind of gone here, we've had no real crazy results, except we did have the White Forest variant actually showing up out of this weekend's events. And we've already talked about, I think the White Forest variant of this is supposed to be super, super strong, man. I mean, any deck that you have just massive playability where you don't give a crap about draw and Lockbird, and you're able just to kind of keep building up super strong boards, like your opponent is just not, stopping you by any sort of imagination. Yeah, it does seem pretty good. Well, time will tell, though, if the White Forest variant is going to stick around or not, or if this is just going to be one of those, the dream is dead. But I don't really think that's the case. I think White Forest is probably going to be the one that's going to be the hard carry, because it makes the most sense given what we've got going on so far with the meta. Medius the Pure. Man, I swear, the more I see this guy running around in the current, discussion points is so freaking crazy. First of all, I mean, good job to this card becoming, a $27 ultra rare over time. And then, a $45 sneak peek secret rare at this stage. It really, anybody else remember the Diabell Stars back in the day where, you couldn't even afford a Diabell Star and they had to rarity collection her? And I mean, they became more affordable. Now, Medius the Pure is in that same boat. All three of the lore decks are not terrible whatsoever. Actually, we can go with 4 because, you can loop them together and make the super strong Megazord as it is. And then also, you know, on the topic of Elfnote, you know, there is the consideration for you to want to play Medius the Pure in the deck. You don't have to, but also the thing is, like, if you do get Medius, you know, you're able to play Archmage, you're able to play Elfnote with, like, the extended stuff from that. It really just depends on the build of variants that you want. But for one card to do functionally, you know, so much for so many different decks, I'm not surprised to see, you know, this price point. I mean, eventually this will get reprinted. We will see, you know, dear old calm down on this, which I think will be a nice little change of pace. But for now, $75 for a play set to play any of the 3 modern lore decks seems pretty outrageous to me, but I mean, people are willing to do it. Next up, K904 Noroi. I don't know if you paid attention to Noroi recently, but he pretty much just got scraped off of the market, which I guess I'm not all that surprised to see Noroi basically getting, you know, shafted off the market, because I mean, this is one of the most powerful K9 cards that we've got at the moment. And obviously, I think the thing that most players have said that they like most about this card is the peeksy weeksy into the opponent's handy wandy. Getting the ability to, you know, foresee what is coming is pretty crucially important to a lot of those play lines. And yeah, while it doesn't necessarily give you any, you know, plus ones, it means, oh, hey, my opponent has a hand trap that I can play around. Oh, hey, my opponent has this interaction. I can actually play around it. So I like hand knowledge effects usually get more limited in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, I'm honestly surprised Noroi hasn't actually gone to the wayside yet. But I mean, you still have to, I mean, he's still a tribute summon at the end of the day, or, you know, a reveal off of Joe Cool to get, you know, this thing deployed. And also, I mean, in order to even get the special summon, I mean, you have to normal it. And if your opponent somehow magically doesn't have 2+ cards in hand, I mean, there goes any sort of real fun that you're going to have with that. So, I don't know. It really just depends. Man, I am sweating today. I just got out of taking a nice hot shower, and my body is just enjoying it. Like, finally getting some time to relax here. And my God, it is really nice. But that's Noroi, everybody. This card is still continuing on its crazy path, I do suppose. And then, of course, a classic here, Dragon Master Knight. You know, we have a full art coming for this in the next set. And we've talked about this before. We're like, oh, hey, you know, why are people spending stupid amounts of money on a card that's about to get another reprint in Rarity 5, and it's going to be an overframe, and it's going to look gorgeous. And there goes another sale for a $63 version of Magia. Honestly, the sales are pretty consistent still. You know, you do have people that take a look at the Japanese version for $20, and they go, hey, you know, I'm willing to spend money on a card I can't play. And I don't really blame people for that. You do kind of have to accept the fact at some point, you know, $20 versus $70 is completely justifiable, especially in the casual tabletop world. You know, what if you got your friends coming over on the weekend and you're like, oh, hey, you know, I got my Dragon Master Magia proxy, you know, we can actually play it and have a little bit of fun. That's fine. That's the kind of fun that, you know, the game needs to explore, and you need to kind of accept that players are willing to have at this stage. So, what in the world happened here this week? A lot of little things, honestly. I'm interested to see where time is going to go with this meta, especially with the Magistus stuff, and where Elfnote's going to go with the White Forest gimmick as well. But please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.